Before we dive in, tell me what city and time you're watching from. Drop it in the comments, Commander. Let's see who's reporting in from the front line. The Xenoth Military Academy was not known for questions. It was known for obedience, for silence, for processing the galaxy's most gifted tactical minds and turning them into commanders who executed without hesitation. There were no interruptions in this room, only inputs and outputs. Theory in, compliance out. Until today, the instructor, a thin creature from the Varathi caste, had just finished dissecting a tactical failure on the planet Malor Prime. Hundreds dead. Unbalanced battlefield. Failure to predict insurgent movements. A textbook example. Except that Malor Prime had been defended by humans, and the instructor had conveniently left that detail out. That's when she raised her hand. Row 9. Cadet designation Velen of House Or, a young diplomat in training from the Arcana system, with dual heritage and a curiosity the Academy had tried hard to suppress. She stood without being acknowledged. "What's the kill ratio?" she asked plainly. "For a single Earth Marine?" Silence. The kind of silence that wasn't just quiet, it pressed against the walls. A silence that held breath and fear. The instructor's head twitched slightly. "Your question is irrelevant," he said. "But you mentioned Malor Prime," she replied. Unmoving. The humans held that position with only one Marine squad deployed. Standard protocol says kill ratios should be cited. Hook. And it was true. According to every declassified report, the Terrans weren't expected to hold Malor Prime. But they didn't just hold it. They made the invaders regret ever landing there. The Varathi instructor's crest flattened. "I said the question is irrelevant. The Earth Marines operate under their own parameters. Their tactics are not reproducible by the Council forces. Because no one understands them," she asked. Whispers fluttered across the class. Velen didn't move. Her voice was steady, respectful, but cutting through protocol like a blade. The instructor turned away, waving the interface to continue the lesson. But another voice spoke. Deeper, older, 17-1. The students turned sharply. In the rear of the room, seated against the cold metal wall, was Advisory Officer Kellen, a Terran exchange strategist embedded within the Council curriculum. He rarely spoke. Some thought he was ceremonial, a political token placed to appease Earth's increasingly feared military status. But now he stood. His black uniform bore no rank. His eyes, human and ancient, scanned the room. 17 confirmed kills for every one casualty. That's the average ratio over 2 decades, across 11 war zones. Earth Marines don't just fight. They terminate opposition. The instructor stiffened. "That information is unverified. It's burned into the walls of the outer moons of Eros Forv." Kellen interrupted. "Ask the survivors. If you can find any." The silence now was not of protocol, it was of gravity. Velen sat slowly. But she was smiling. Later that day, in the courtyard where students rarely spoke to each other outside species lines, she found Kellen sitting alone, eyes toward the sky. "You didn't have to answer," she said. He didn't look at her. "I did." "Why?" He finally turned, his voice softer than before. "Because someone needs to understand what we are, not just what we're capable of." She nodded. "Was it true?" she asked. 17-1. He took a long breath. "No," he said. "That's the official figure. Sanitized. Palatable. For the Council's sake." She frowned. "Then what's the real number?" He looked at her like someone studying a burning sun. "Beautiful and dangerous." "That depends," he said. "Do you count the ones that surrendered?" That night, Velen requested access to restricted files. Her diplomatic clearance gave her entry to certain archives, but the human war logs were notoriously encrypted. Still, what she found shook her. Not just kill counts, but battle maps, combat audio, helmet feeds, and one report, redacted almost to nonsense, that included only a single statement from a surviving enemy officer. "We thought they were mortal. That was our first mistake." She didn't sleep. Not because she was afraid of humans, But because for the first time, she wasn't. 2 weeks later, a training simulation paired Velen's squad with a human advisor. Not Kellen, a new officer. Sergeant Raz, Earthborn, with cybernetic implants and a quiet, emotionless way of watching the field. The exercise was routine, breach and clear in simulated tunnels. Her squad was cautious, methodical, by the book. Raz watched in silence for 10 minutes. Then he stepped forward and completed the objective in under 90 seconds. No wasted motion, no hesitation, just decisive lethal perfection. Afterward, he approached Velen alone. "You asked about kill ratios," he said. She nodded. He leaned close enough that she could see the glint of combat data still sinking behind his eyes. "We don't count them," he said, "because we don't go in to balance the numbers." She tilted her head. "Then why do you go in?" He smiled, a tired, quiet expression that didn't quite reach his eyes. "To end the math altogether." The next week, Velen received a message. No sender, no trail, just one line. "Observe exercise Sable Crown." No questions. She followed the coordinates to Observation Dome 12, a classified satellite arena suspended over Jupiter's lower orbit. Inside, she found only Kellen and a silent viewing crew from the Council's inner tribunal. On the field below, a fully armed, simulated battlefield, urban terrain. Enemies programmed with reactive AI. Standard challenge difficulty, Omega Red. "This is where the real numbers come from," Kellen said. A dropship entered the arena. The hatch opened. One human stepped out. No backup, no armor platoon. Just a lone Earth Marine. His name not announced. His rifle standard issue but customized. Body language relaxed. Breathing calm. A whistle of tension swept through the observation dome as the simulation began. The enemies swarmed. Dozens, then hundreds, programmed to flank, overwhelm, use every tactic they'd learned from fighting Earth forces. The Marine didn't rush. He moved like time was irrelevant. Every shot measured, each movement an answer to a question no one else had yet asked. Within minutes, entire segments of the field had gone silent. By the 14-minute mark, enemy signals began retreating. By 18, the AI command center within the simulation initiated a full shutdown, because the enemy AI declared the scenario unwinnable. Velen couldn't believe what she'd seen. "That wasn't training," she said quietly. "That was deterrence." Kellen didn't respond immediately. Then finally, "It's not about showing strength," he said. "It's about reminding the galaxy that if Earth ever removes its leash, there won't be time to ask for mercy." That evening, Velen sat alone, reviewing the simulation, not for technique, but for emotion. She was searching for signs of fear in the Marine's expression. There were none, only precision, and something far more unsettling, absence. He wasn't enjoying the task, but he wasn't resisting it either. It was duty, cold, complete, and clean. The next day, the instructor brought up a new lesson on interspecies engagement ethics. He avoided eye contact with Velen, but she raised her hand again. "What's the retention rate of Earth Marines post-deployment?" This time the instructor didn't speak. Kellen answered instead. 74% retire within 3 years, he said. But less than 9% ever reintegrate into civilian society. Why? Because their minds aren't built for peace, he said. Not anymore. That night, Velen requested transfer to the Earth Alliance diplomacy track. When asked why by the Academy Council, she replied, "Because the only way to stop the next war is to understand the ones who never stop fighting." Years later, as Earth Marines were deployed to the Zafari conflict, Velen was one of the few non-Terrans trusted to coordinate negotiations between war-torn colonies. She was never afraid, because she remembered the lesson from the class that fell silent, that the most terrifying soldiers aren't the loudest. They're the ones who only speak when someone asks the wrong question. And if you made it to the end, now you know, it's not the kill ratio that defines a human warrior, it's that they never go in counting. They go in deciding how the story ends. Like, comment, and share this with someone who believes silence doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes, it's just waiting to strike.